With the third pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
1 hour later.
We have some updates out of San Francisco in the quarterback room. Tom Pelissero, the 49ers are naming Sam Darnold as their number 2 quarterback, and the team is exploring options with Trey Lance. Darnold will be back up to Brock Purdy, while the future of Lance, the number 3 overall pick, is unclear.
All right, guys, so we need to have a serious talk about Trey Lance possibly being the biggest bust in NFL history. For the last several weeks, there's been a lot of discourse surrounding Trey Lance and his future with the 49ers, and the way things have shooken out recently is that Brock Purdy has been named the starter. We've known that ever since he, came back healthy. And Sam Darnold, as of this morning, was named the backup quarterback in San Francisco, which then pushes Trey Lance to the third string spot. Now, this is a problem because the 49ers not only took him third overall back in the 2021 draft 2 years ago, but they traded away 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick. They traded away the 12th overall pick in 2021, the 29th pick in both 2022 and 2023, and up until this point, they have gotten 0 return on investment. And what's not completely fair, but also doesn't help, is the fact that the next 10 players selected in the draft after Trey Lance are all studs. Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, a guy they should have taken third overall, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons with their original 12th pick, one of the best young defensive players in the NFL, and then Rashawn Slater at pick 13. So pretty obviously right now it is just a bad situation for Trey Lance and the 49ers. And I kind of wanted to talk about how this came about and discuss if we're reaching historic levels of disappointment. First, though, I do want to mention why the 49ers traded up for pick 3, what their logic was, right? They were coming off a Super Bowl appearance against the Kansas City Chiefs recently, and they knew that they needed a difference maker at quarterback. Everybody in that 49ers building, and honestly anybody who watches football, knew that Jimmy Garoppolo was not an elite quarterback. He was not the type of guy that was going to get the 49ers over the hump like they lacked in the Super Bowl. So they wanted to trade up, make a big move, and get up there. And apparently, early in the draft process, they decided that Trey Lance was going to be that guy. Now, Trey Lance had some positive attributes. He was a young, athletic kid with a strong arm. But unfortunately, even reading some of the pre-draft scouting reports, he was raw. He suffered with inaccuracies. He was not a great processor. And he did not play good competition at his Division I FCS school, North Dakota State. So there were plenty of red flags to indicate that Trey Lance could maybe be a bust, but he was going to Kyle Shannahan, one of the best quarterback whisperers in the entire NFL. So if anybody was going to get the good quarterback out of Trey Lance, it would be him. So in his rookie season, Jimmy Garoppolo took the majority of the starts for the 49ers. Trey Lance only started 2 games, which honestly was the right call. He was very raw. He was not ready for the NFL out of the gate. He started 2 games, won 1 and lost 1. He threw 71 passes, threw 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but really nothing that you could analyze for the future. Now, this past season in 2022 was his chance to start for the 49ers. They basically, exiled Jimmy Garoppolo to the shadow realm before the season started. Trey Lance is the guy. He's going to play all 17 games, and he's going to be the starter. Well, the problem with that is in the first game against the Bears, he played in a literal monsoon, couldn't do anything. And then in the second game against Seattle, he snapped his ankle. He ended 2022 the same way. 1 win, 1 loss, although the 1 win was against Seattle where he barely played. Additionally, only threw 31 passes and, didn't have anything really of note. So replacing Trey Lance was then Jimmy Garoppolo, and then replacing Jimmy Garoppolo was then Brock Purdy, who rattled off 7 straight wins up until the NFC Championship game in which he tore his UCL. So there was a lot of talk in this offseason saying, hey, if Brock Purdy isn't recovered, if he isn't healthy, maybe Trey Lance could get an opportunity to be the 49ers starting quarterback again. Unfortunately for Trey Lance, Brock Purdy was back and he was healthy, and the 49ers ended up signing Sam Darnold in the offseason. Now, Kyle Shannahan has made it pretty clear that since day one, if Brock Purdy is healthy, he is the starting quarterback. From what Kyle Shannahan has said, he thinks he deserved it from what he did last year and what he continues to do in training camp, in the offseason, etc. That left the competition for the backup quarterback spot. We've seen a couple of preseason games of both Sam Darnold and Trey Lance. Trey Lance has looked iffy. I mean, he's still struggling with a lot of the same concepts. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of improvement there, right? He's just struggling with really basic reads. He's not seeing the field well. So when the decision was made earlier this morning to start Sam Darnold over Trey Lance, or I say start, I mean back up Sam Darnold over Trey Lance. It was a big disappointing moment for a lot of 49ers fans. And the 49ers are reportedly exploring options for Trey Lance, which is big lingo for they're trying to trade him. They're trying to salvage anything they can from this trade. And as it currently stands, I really don't think they're going to get jack shit for Trey Lance. If you think about it, what team is going to give up valuable assets for any team's third-string quarterback, let alone the 49ers, who really don't have any kind of bona fide, really good starters? I think teams secretly understand, hey, this guy was the 3rd overall pick. He went to Kyle Shannahan, and Kyle Shannahan couldn't even get the good quarterback play out of him. So what would their coaching staff be able to do that Kyle Shanahan wasn't able to do? I think at the most, they're going to get a fifth round pick. I mean, maybe. Again, there's no starting opportunity open for Trey Lance where he would just go in and be the starter. He would be the backup. And again, it's just a guy that I just don't know. I think it's too much of an investment for teams to make, and they haven't seen enough to pull the trigger on a deal like that. So thinking of the real reason I made this video, I wanted to really think about Trey Lance in the lens of biggest bust of all time, right? Because we all know the current candidates for biggest bust of all time. We have Ryan Leaf, we have guys like Jamarcus Russell, Johnny Manziel, and for all of those guys, there was an underlying theme of character issues, right? Ryan Leaf got himself in trouble, had, anger management issues in the locker room. Jamarcus Russell infamously never watched tape, never really gave a shit, got fat. I mean, this is not my own words. This is, the words of his teammates and his coaches. Johnny Manziel just came out in a documentary and said that he didn't watch a minute of film. Those are all character issues, and while maybe it was the wrong draft pick, that aspect of the quarterback is just out of the coach's control, right? They did not know that their quarterbacks were not going to watch no film, go to jail, etc. But with Trey Lance, there doesn't seem to be any underlying character issues. He seems like an upstanding guy. He seems hardworking. It seems like he, is actually watching film. So what is wrong, basically? I just think it is kind of a perfect storm of a lot of things. I think it is. I think it's a combination of the 49ers overdrafting Trey Lance and looking too much into his raw physical traits like his arm, his athleticism, etc. I think it's Trey Lance not being an NFL caliber quarterback coming out of college. Again, playing at NDSU didn't help. I also think it could have possibly been the ego of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to assume that they could transform this super raw prospect into their franchise quarterback. And lastly, you have to add in some element of bad luck. I mean, we really didn't get to see what Trey Lance could have. He could have been great last year, but he snapped his ankle, right? So that's not anything that is anybody's fault. That is just pure happenstance, and that's just bad luck. But I think that perfect storm, combined with the fact that they traded away 3 first-rounders. I mean, say what you want about Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell, and Johnny Manziel. They did not invest that much capital into their guy, right? The 49ers gave up 3 years of first-round picks to go get Trey Lance. The Raiders, they drafted Jamarcus Russell first overall, which is a big investment, I understand. But then they got rid of him. They still had their first-round picks for the next year. So in terms of just ruining a franchise for multiple years, Trey Lance has to be up there as one of the highest busts in NFL history. And honestly, I will say I'm rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for Trey Lance, the person. Like I said, it doesn't seem like it's any sort of character issues, discipline issues, lack of preparation issues. It's just a guy who just unfortunately isn't ready to play quarterback in the NFL, I don't think. And I also want to make a small caveat. I hope this video didn't seem too pessimistic, because at the end of the day, Trey Lance in his football career accomplished way more than I ever will. I never even sniffed the NFL, and this guy got paid millions of dollars, drafted 3rd overall, and was a starting quarterback for a time in the NFL. It is way beyond anything I will ever do. So I don't want to just crucify the young man and just say, this guy's terrible, da-da-da-da-da. What I'm saying is his career so far has been a disappointment. And what has happened with the 49ers franchise because of the situation surrounding himself is overall negatively impacted. But I just wanted to make this video on Trey Lance and talk about the situation. I think it's fascinating. It's one of the worst quarterback situations I think I've seen in the majority of NFL history. And I just want to talk about it for you guys. Again, I'm making this video the night of the news happening. It's probably not coming out to the next morning, but I just wanted to make this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the future of Trey Lance. Is it with the 49ers? Is it with a different team? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 500. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.